What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Pick Six Podcast, CBS Sports Daily NFL Podcast. I'm Will Brinson. I'm your host. This is a YouTube exclusive look ahead at the divisional round lines for the 2020 NFL playoffs. Joining me, as always, every Sunday to break these down, Ryan Wilson, Sean Wagner-McGough, and John Breech. I'd be remiss if I didn't point out two things. One, you can subscribe to the podcast by going to Apple Podcast and doing that. We had a recap of the Saturday games, we'll have a recap of the Sunday games up, look aheads with daily shows every single freaking day. Two, hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel and you can get these videos delivered right to you. And then three, how dumb is it that it's the 2020 playoffs? I know it's 2020, but it's the playoffs of the 2019 season. Drives me nuts every single time, but what are you going to do? Anyway, let's get to the games. Vikings at the 49ers. The Minnesota Vikings, my Minnesota Vikings, went to New Orleans and took down the pesky Saints, beat them straight up in overtime. An incredible game, a thrilling game. They are headed to San Francisco where they are dogs again, huge dogs, in fact. The 49ers -7, the number one seed, hosting the 6 seed Vikings. Over under 45 and a half, Ryan. Is that too many points? Not enough points? Just right points?
I'm not sure about the points because this game got started so slowly in New Orleans, but I will say this first off. I owe Kirk Cousins an apology. When he doesn't play well, we call him Kirby. He was Kirk through and through on Sunday. Fantastic performance to know about the 0-9. That's right. Hats off to you. 0-9 on Monday Night Football. That's not done, but he won on national television a huge game. 0-6 with Minnesota. 0-1 in the playoffs. All that's off the board. He is now a franchise quarterback, and he showed that. He was better than Drew Brees, and I don't even think it was close. That tells you all you need to know. His one touchdown pass came on the most important play of the game to Kyle Rudolph. I don't know what else to say. If you can go to New Orleans and win, I have very little doubt you can go into San Francisco and compete. I think they're definitely going to cover that -7. I think they have a chance to win. I am now all in. I'm not taking the bandwagon with you and Breech. Me and Sean are going to take our own bandwagon, but we're joining the board. I feel like I'm buying into Kirk. No more Kirby.
Hey, me and Brinson went to Home Depot before the season started, bought some board, and built a Vikings bandwagon from scratch. We both have the Vikings going to the Super Bowl, and I am going to stay on that bandwagon. Ryan, you mentioned it. If you can go into New Orleans and beat the Saints, you can win anywhere. Kirk Cousins in overtime against New Orleans, he looked like he was playing against my Cousins, the Saints defense. He was just torching in 63 yards, that touchdown that Ryan mentioned to Kyle Rudolph. And you look at what the Vikings did on defense. They had Drew Brees flustered the entire game. He never felt comfortable. Saints didn't really do anything on offense unless Taysom Hill was in there. And there's no reason they can't do that against Jimmy Garoppolo. He's a statue back there, just like Drew Brees. You start putting pressure on him, and 49ers absolutely have to start relying on their running attack. And at that 49ers defense, it's been strong all year, but if it has one weakness, it is stopping the run. If Kirk Cousins doesn't play it well next week, who cares? Because he shouldn't even be throwing the ball. Give it to Dalvin Cook, and then give it to Dalvin Cook some more. And I think the Vikings can pull off the upset. I'm not sure if I'm ready to pick that, but I do absolutely think they're going to cover this 7-point spread.
So, Breech, you think the Vikings are going to the Super Bowl, but you're not sure if they're going to beat the 49ers? I feel like that means they're probably going to beat the 49ers. I'm with both of them. I think the 49ers aren't going to cover the spread. I think the 49ers will win, though. This is what's interesting, is that Kirk Cousins obviously had a lot of question marks about his ability to win big games. Look, real Kirk Cousins stands, I don't think we're that surprised by his performance. He's been playing like a top 5, top 6 quarterback for most of the season. He certainly looked like that against Drew Brees in the Superdome. And I think the same questions that we were asking of Kirk Cousins coming into the playoffs should now be applied to Jimmy Garoppolo. We don't know if he can win the big game. We don't know how he's going to react in this situation. He's been in a lot of playoff games, but he's done that as Brady's backup. So we haven't seen that from him yet. I think my other takeaway from this Vikings win was how good their defensive ends were, from Everson Griffin, Daniel Hunter. And I think they can get after Garoppolo, and I don't know how he's going to respond. So I like the Vikings to cover the spread. I still think the 49ers are the better team, so I think they're going to win. And I think I would take the under because I like both of these defenses in this game.
I would say, one, that it just occurred to me that Drew Brees was the 6th best quarterback playing on Sunday. Like, who could have seen that coming with Taysom Hill, Josh McCown, Carson Wentz, Russell Wilson, and Kirk Cousins? I hate to see it. But I love the Vikings at this spot. That should be no surprise to anybody. I like the Vikings to cover against the Saints. I like the Vikings to cover against the 49ers. I think they can absolutely win the game. It would be idiotic to, and this is why I don't get Sean's point to Breech. Like, it would be idiotic to say they're going to win it. They are definitely going to win that game. Like, it's a tough game. You're going across the country. You're playing in San Francisco against a really good 49ers team. But can the Vikings win? Absolutely. And I think one thing to keep an eye out for if you're betting on this game, the Vikings and the under to me are correlated. I like the under anyway, but I think if Minnesota wins, it's because they tend to play great defense against San Francisco, bog down that Kyle Shanahan offense, and additionally, you will see them run the ball and control the clock like they did against New Orleans. That over, by the way, in the Vikings Saints game definitely should have hit. Next up, Seahawks at the Packers. It's the Luck Bowl. No, it has nothing to do with Andrew Luck. These are just the two luckiest teams in all of football. The Seahawks, what more can the Seahawks get? I mean, like, you're like, oh, 10 wins by one score? What else do you need? How about Carson Wentz suffering a concussion in his first playoff game because Jadeveon Clowney came flying with it, like, and hit him with a headbutt? Packers minus 3.5. The over-under is 47. John Breech, you're the official Matt LaFleur doppelganger. Who you got here?
Well, I can't pick against my twin brother. Andrew Luck should actually handle the coin toss. Both quarterbacks should be required to have a lucky rabbit's foot in their belt for this game because this is the Luck Bowl. I don't know how either of these two teams got here, but the bottom line is they are both here, and one of them is going to be playing in the NFC Championship in 2 weeks, which is almost shocking. And here is the weird thing about this game is that you look at what the Seahawks have trouble doing. They can't really stop the pass. But you know what? I'm not sure if Aaron Rodgers can take advantage of that. You look at the Packers defense has trouble doing. They can't really stop the run. But I don't know if the Seahawks can take advantage of that. Travis Homer, I didn't even know who he was until 3 weeks ago. Marshawn Lynch, he was handing out tequila shots at a Raiders game 4 weeks ago. Now he's going to be a playoff running back. So I am really a little bit confused on this game. I think Russell Wilson is the better quarterback. He will keep this game close like he does with every single Seahawks game ever. My early gut on this is that the Seahawks cover and the Packers win a 2 or 3 point game.
Breech is absolutely right. The Seahawks have the better quarterback, and I don't think it's particularly close. Look, I ranked the playoff quarterbacks coming into the postseason, all 12 of them. I had Rodgers at number 10. I think that's how he's been playing most of the season, which is not to say terrible. He's just not the Aaron Rodgers that we've been used to seeing over the course of his career. And the one thing we know about the Seahawks, Brinson mentioned, is they always play in close games. 12 of their games this year have been decided by one score. And the reason they're almost always emerging victorious in those games, aside from, having some good luck, is they have Russell Wilson, who would have been the MVP if Lamar Jackson didn't do something a quarterback had never done in NFL history before. So I hate to make this overly simplistic, but for me, it's as simple as two teams, playing above their true talent level. I'm going to take the better quarterback, and I think the Seahawks have the better quarterback by far. I don't think the Seahawks just cover. I think the Seahawks go in there and win, and we're asking how the heck the Seahawks made it to the NFC Championship game when they're quite frankly just not that good of a team.
Sean, I will tell you how they make it to the championship game, and you hit on the major point. Russell Wilson obviously starts there, but I think we saw glimpses of Brian Schottenheimer loosening up a little bit. That third down play at the very end of the game, the bomb to decaf Metcalf. That was huge because every other play in the history of Brian Schottenheimer play calls on third downs, he runs that thing, and they have to kick it back and let the defense do their thing. That makes me feel like, okay, maybe he understands that they can't run the ball every single time. Let Russell do what Russell does. As you both have pointed out, he's the highest paid player in the NFL for a reason. Let him play like that, and we see glimpses of it week in and week out. We saw more in Philadelphia, and I think we'll see even more in Green Bay. And I think I feel like they're going to cover no problem. I give Sean credit for going out on a limb and picking him to win. I think it's going to be close. Circle back next week or later in the week to see if I'm picking him to win.
So just so we're clear, the Seahawks, who really profile like a 7 or 8 win team, have a chance to go to Green Bay, beat Aaron Rodgers and a questionable Packers team, then go to San Francisco and win where they've already won, potentially San Francisco or maybe Minnesota. I guess no, they'd be in Seattle, they'd be hosting, which would be even crazier. So they'd either play, but they could go to San Francisco and get a 49ers team that they played twice and almost beat twice. And then the Seahawks would be in the Super Bowl? That would be the craziest. Can you imagine, like, what's the line on the Seahawks in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs or the Ravens? Because you can't make it high enough for me to take the Seahawks. this team is a little fraudulent. They shouldn't have beaten the Eagles. They got lucky with the Carson Wentz stuff, and they still could have lost to Josh McCown very easily. I think when you look at this Packers team, yes, Aaron Rodgers may be washed up over the hill, whatever it is. He's still got enough juice left where I think he could make a deep playoff run. They can run the ball effectively. Seattle's defense doesn't scare me that much, especially if you could throw all over them. And the Packers have weapons. I think Devontae Adams has a huge game. And then more importantly, if the Seahawks offensive line isn't healthy, and it wasn't healthy against Philadelphia, the Packers will rush the passer like crazy. Now, look, if Matt LaFleur ends up in a situation where he has to decide whether he wants to be a conservative or not, like Mike McCarthy, and he allows Russell Wilson to come back, would I be shocked if the Seahawks won or kept it close? No. But I think I'm going to take the Packers to cover here as a short home favorite, with rest and the Seahawks all banged up. Next on the docket, the Titans at the Ravens. We head to the AFC. Ravens minus 9.5. Feels a little public-y, like trying to get the public to take the Ravens here, Sean. Ravens minus 9.5, over under 48. Are you going to take the Ravens?
I think the Ravens are going to win this game. I do like the Titans to cover. I think it's time we put some respect on Ryan Tannehill's name. He went into Foxborough, beat the Patriots. Obviously didn't have to do that much in the game. They really relied on Derrick Henry. Well, here's the good news. The Ravens defense obviously improving all season long. We all know that. They are a lot more susceptible against the run than against the pass. So I think if the Titans, the key here, this sounds really obvious. We said this on the podcast the other night. They got to get out to a lead. They can't fall behind because once this Ravens team gets in front of you, they can just hammer you. And if you have to throw on that defense, you're going to have a lot of problems. The thing is, I think the Titans are just so well balanced. They can run the ball with Derrick Henry. If they are forced to throw the ball, it's time to acknowledge that Ryan Tannehill playing like a top 5 quarterback this entire season. First in passer rating, first in yards per attempt, first in adjusted completion percentage over expectation. He is the analytics darling. He's playing out of his mind, and I think 9.5 points is too much. The Ravens have covered in 9 out of their last 10 games. I don't think they cover here, but I do think they win.
I love what Ryan Tannehill's done, but he made 2 good throws against the Patriots, and that's a really good defense there. This line is actually really good. It's tough because the Ravens are going to have 2 weeks off. We know Lamar Jackson didn't play in week 17 because RG3 did, so he's had 3 weeks off. So Breech mentioned this on the podcast previously. Is he going to be rusty? I don't think so. You can start off by running the ball, get warmed up there. We know the Titans defense is a little better against the run than the pass, but even if they're somehow stopping the run, and they won't do it for long, the Titans, Lamar Jackson can throw the football pretty well. I think he led the NFL in touchdown passes. So we know he can do that as well. He's going to be the NFL MVP. It's a tall ask for Tennessee to come into Baltimore and win that game a week after what they just did in Gillette Stadium. I think the Ravens win. I think it's going to be, oh God, this is so tough. I think the Titans will cover just barely, but I think the Ravens are going to win that game.
You guys both think the Ravens are going to win. Did you see what Derrick Henry did to the New England Patriots? He steamrolled them. I think I just saw a video. They are still scraping bodies off the field at Gillette Stadium. It was that ugly. So here's the thing, is that is a hard thing to game plan against if you're a defensive coordinator. Yeah, you can try and stack the box. The Patriots tried that. Derrick Henry still rushed for 182 yards. And even if you do figure out a way to stop Derrick Henry or even slow him down, because I don't think you can stop him, you have Ryan Tannehill to deal with. He didn't put up big numbers against the Patriots because he didn't need to. They didn't ask him to do much. Ryan mentioned he only made 2 good throws. That's all they needed. They won the game. Sean mentioned how good Tannehill's been. He had the highest QB rating, the highest yards per attempt. So the metrics love him. Tannehill's been phenomenal this season. And I think that combo is just as good what the Ravens are going to have, except the Ravens are going to be rusty. Guys, from my office in Nashville, I am taking the Titans to cover and pull off the upset. I was the only one to pick upset against the Patriots.
Wow, it's like your Clay Travis with a better beard and cooler takes. Congratulations. Was it a requirement of Nashville? What's going on here? I'm just kidding. Can I say that? I can say that. That's my video. Just kidding. I love you, Breech. I love it. I like diving all in on the Titans. You're worried about your house getting toilet papered. You're worried about the eggs flying. Here's the thing. And this is going to sound really stupid, but it's really true. The team that gets the lead first in this game is going to win. You like that? You like that comprehensive analysis? I really do believe that, though. Like, I think both of these teams are designed to get downhill on you once they get the lead. If the Titans can get you playing poor offense and can get you struggling like the Patriots did. The Patriots couldn't convert in the red zone. Once that happened, they were really able to get Derrick Henry rolling downhill, and the Patriots had no answers. And so I don't think the Titans can come from behind. If they get down 14-0 in the first quarter, I think it's over. I don't think you're going to see Ryan Tannehill lead some magical comeback against the Ravens secondary, because the Ravens secondary is very good, and Lamar Jackson, Mark Ingram, Gus Edwards, Justice Hill, they'll all get downhill on you, and they'll keep attacking and attacking. And so to me, it's critical that the Titans hang around in that first quarter. If they do that, I think they will cover. It's a lot of points. I like the idea of Ryan Tannehill versus RG3, Ryan Tannehill in the Super Bowl. They all sound good, but I'm going to take the Ravens to cover. I think the Ravens are going to smash them. Finally, sorry for calling you Clay Travis. Texans at the Chiefs. Chiefs minus 9.5. Ryan, Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson. Not just the first matchup we want to see. We need to see another great matchup. This is why Ryan Tannehill can't win. We need Lamar Jackson against one of these guys. But first, we get to see Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, Chiefs minus 9.5, over under 49. Highest over under of divisional round weekend. Who you got?
The last two games we talked about have been minus 9.5. I have no trouble at all taking the Chiefs here. The Texans, unless Patrick Mahomes plans to throw the ball behind his head about 4 or 5 times Josh Allen style, this game should be over pretty quickly. We always talk about head coaches and how that matchup comes down to it. It's Andy Reid versus Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien actually coached pretty well in the second half. He didn't show up in the first half. That's why they were behind by so much. That said, one issue, Kansas City's defense, but Sean has pointed this out in previous weeks, they do keep improving, and they're actually really good against the pass. They're 6th against the pass, according to Football Outsiders, only 29th against the run. But going back to Bill O'Brien, he does not like to use Duke Johnson. So it's going to be a bunch of runners with no Duke Johnson, and they'll bring him in the fourth quarter to try to fix things. They'll be too late, and we'll know that Sean Watson will be running for his life. By then, it will be over. I like the Chiefs to cover, and I even like the over.
You know what, Ryan? I actually do not agree with you on the over, but I agree with you on everything else that you said. You look at, and you just mentioned that the Chiefs will win this game as long as Patrick Mahomes doesn't look like Josh Allen. Well, you know who looked like Josh Allen the last time these two teams played? Patrick Mahomes. He threw an ugly interception. He lost a fumble. The Texans took advantage of both of those, and they won earlier this season when these two teams played. Texans won 31-24, and that was probably Patrick Mahomes, one of his ugliest games of the season. Now, that being said, if the Texans have one huge weakness, it is absolutely their secondary, and that is definitely not the one weakness you want to have when you are going into Kansas City to face Mahomes. Both the Chiefs defense and the Chiefs offense have gotten exponentially better since the Texans beat them. I think that was back in October. And I know Brinson will point this out, but I'm going to say that there was one person you never bet against off the bye. It is Andy Reid. He has had an extra week to plan for this game. There is no way they are going to lose. I will take the Chiefs to cover and win by at least 2 touchdowns.
Andy Reid off the bye. Andy Reid off the bye. Andy Reid off the bye. You guys are completely right. I think this is going to be a blowout. I don't want to take anything away from Deshaun Watson. But if the Texans were playing a better team or a team with a better offense on Saturday, there's no way Watson's leading them back, because that game should have been bigger than 16-0 at that point in the third quarter. And I think the Chiefs are the team that will be able to punish a bad Texans defense. And if the Texans start slow offensively, they're not going to be able to come back. Those guys just mentioned the last time they met, which the Texans won. The Chiefs allowed 31 points in that game and 472 yards. At that point in the season, the Chiefs were allowing 24 points per game and 406 yards per game. Since then, they're allowing 16 points per game and 315 yards per game. So this defense has improved exponentially, as John said. So I think the Chiefs are going to win this game handedly. I actually like the under, because I don't think the Texans are actually going to find that much success against the Chiefs defensive line that I think can get after Deshaun Watson with Chris Jones and Frank Clark, and I think kind of bother him and get after him. And we kind of saw the Bills do that for a half. I think the Chiefs can do it for a full game.
I agree. Andy Reid off the bye. I think I would love You have to wait. Now, here's the interesting thing is that when you look at the two games, the Chiefs and the Ravens, like they opened up at 9 and got to 10, but never really stayed at 10. They've been down at 9.5. I think that's like a pretty clear demarcation. It's like, do you want to lay double digits with these teams? I think if you put them in a vacuum, it would probably be 7 points because they're trying to get money from both sides. They want the sharp guys to take money on the plus 9.5, and also they want the public to lay almost double digits. I think the move to be, and now I'm throwing this in Breech's face, but tease the Chiefs and tease the Ravens down. So do like a 6.5 point tease. You get down to 3 points. You just need to win by a field goal. Feels like that's going to happen for both teams, unless you're John Breech. I like the Chiefs here too. I think the Texans are fraudulent, and Bill O'Brien is a coward who will lose to Andy Reid, who will run up the score. There, I said it. That's it for us. We also have a podcast to record. We do emergency podcasts all the time. Jason Garrett gets fired in the middle of the Eagles game. Yeah, we bang one out for you. Don't worry about it. We got that. We got our wild card round recap, divisional round preview stuff all week. So make sure to subscribe and hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Say it one more time, Breech.
Go Titans!
See you next time.